Okay, back to 1972 or thereabouts. I visited one of my sisters in New Jersey. When I walked in the door, she showed me a layout in Life magazine, pointed at a photograph, and asked, "Is that you?" I said, "Yes." It was the 1971 year-end issue of Life, an article titled "Homosexuals in Revolt." I hadn't seen it before. I didn't even know about it. More than half of page 63 is a photo of protesting homosexuals at my first demonstration at New York City Hall. Provocative photo of the day and a period piece today. Different photos of me at the same demonstration would eventually appear in Time magazine and in Newsweek magazine.
Lead a fine life, carrying the banner through it all. A mighty fine life, carrying the banner up and tall. What a fine life, carrying the banner home to y'all.
Now, Jane Fonda received her first Oscar nomination for They Shoot Horses, Don't They?
What are you going to do now? Try the movies again? No. I'd never make it. And maybe it wouldn't make no difference even if I did. Maybe it's just the whole damn world is like central casting. They got it all rigged before you ever show up. I know what you mean. I know just what you mean. Do you?
Difficult film to watch. Marathon dancers trying to survive the Great Depression. Dropouts from a society that couldn't afford them anymore. Well, after about a year, I dropped out of GAA. General meetings were becoming more and more crowded and absurdly chaotic. One guy even suggested GAA should take a stand on bestiality. Well, that was voted down, of course, and the zaps I read about and saw on the TV news seemed old hat. I explained my position in an article published in Gay, a new newspaper in the city. Quote, GAA's tactics are becoming outmoded. Demonstrators came off looking like a group of leftover hippies. Tactics of last year are as dated and as useless as a 1955 Edsel. If they are to grow into a group that will not only demand change but also affect change, the time is now to change. Unquote. Well, my dropout didn't mean I became any less militant. Well, Morty, the new president of GAA, was arrested during a zap at an inner circle banquet after an altercation with Michael May, the president of the Uniformed Firefighters. It made the newspaper. The fireman allegedly slugged Morty, yet Morty was arrested. Well, I wrote a letter to Mayor John Lindsay about the injustice, and the mayor wrote back assuring me, quote, the incident will be investigated, unquote. And I also wrote a letter to New York Senator Jacob Javits about the same issue. He replied that as a, quote, federal official, it would be inappropriate for me to intervene, unquote. Well, the upshot was Morty was released. Then Michael May was arrested for assault and put on trial and was acquitted. My letter to the editor was printed in the Daily News. Quote, justice was on trial in the Michael May case. Justice lost. And I signed my name. Well, I wrote an essay and sent it to the Bergen Evening Record, Northern New Jersey's largest newspaper. It concerned my coming out of the closet as a gay man. Now, Merle Miller, a novelist and noted author of historical books about both Presidents Truman and Johnson, had recently had an article in the Sunday New York Times Magazine about his coming out as gay. The article was quite controversial. Well, in my piece, I concluded, quote, during this innocent period of the latter 1950s, I matured as a homosexual in Moa, New Jersey, the epitome of small-town USA. I would no longer have thought of telling anyone I was homosexual than I would have thought of walking on the moon. Times have changed. Men are walking on the moon. Men are standing up proudly and saying, I am a homosexual. I am a homosexual. Unquote. Well, about a month later, I received a $50 check in the mail. My story was to be told on the op-ed page. Well, my heart sank to my stomach. Although Mom and Dad already knew I was gay, as I explained in the last episode, many others in town read the record. A storm was coming, and I had to warn my parents. I called the newspaper to find out exactly when the article would see print. Whoops. It already was in print a couple of weeks ago. They titled my article, A Different Kind of Coming Out. Well, the next time I went to New Jersey, Mom was alone in the kitchen. She handed me the article clipped from the paper and never said one word. Nothing. Nil, nada, zilch. Nobody else mentioned it either. Not to me, anyway.